Good evening, this is the Oscar Expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time to predict the Critics' Choice nominations, which are on Thursday. We just had the Golden Globes, and we've had a whole slew of critics groups weigh in. And so we have lots of, precursors to this precursor. Let's go to Best Film. Anora, I still have it number one. It's doing the best with critics groups right now. It's winning
How many
the most.
wins does it have?
4. Wicked is 3.
That's scary. That's why I have them at number 1 and 2, actually.
I have Wicked at number 2 also because, like with Barbie last year, they're having a palooza.
No, but also for the Oscar, I have Anora, Wicked, number 1, number 2.
I
know it's weird,
Yeah, no,
but
I have that too.
Even with critics groups, Wicked is in second to Anora? That's crazy. The Critics' Choice won't vote for films that they don't know are Oscar contenders yet, or they don't think would be nominated. Sometimes they try to boost something. There could be like a Twitter thing, like RRR. But last year we saw they didn't nominate Anatomy of a Fall, they didn't nominate Zone of Interest. They do what you expect them to do, given the current point in time that they're having the ceremony. Like, for example, they did not nominate All Quiet in any technical categories. So you don't want to overthink the Critics' Choice too much.
You also don't want to overemphasize the word critic. The Golden Globes are more of a critics group. There's no way this group's nominating All We Imagine Is Light for directing. So Wicked's going to do really, really well here. We're going to see it in cinematography, I swear to fucking God.
And by the way, if you want to see the gap between Critics' Circles and Critics' Choice, look no further than the year that First Cow was not nominated for Critics' Choice.
Oh, yes.
And critics groups were doing that up the wazoo. You don't want to pull from the coastal film critics groups as much here for inspiration. You want to go with the more localized ones like random, Michigan or DC film critics, because the coastal ones will do things like give Marianne Jean-Baptiste the award for Best Actress, or put Nickel Boys in give Nickel Boys Best Director. Critics' Choice, I think, are going to struggle with Nickel Boys. So other ones are kind of obvious. We could breeze through these. The Brutalist is guaranteed. It's like a dark horse to win, maybe. Conclave, lock. Sing Sing.
I think it's doing really well with critics groups so far. I have no reason to think that the Globe's hatred is going to continue here.
Yeah, I do think critics have gotten around to seeing Sing Sing, and it's not going to have a problem here.
Sing Sing's also been on Gold Derby all year. That's how you know it's going to be a Critics' Choice.
Yeah, and they think it's happening. Pretend the Globes didn't happen. Don't overthink that. Doom Part 2 is going to get in, obviously. Amelia Perez. Do critics like Amelia Perez? Not that much. Are they going to nominate it at a Critics' Choice? Yes.
Given that it got 10 Golden Globes, relatively so far, the critics groups have not been embracing it as hard, and I expect to see less nominations at the critics groups than we will get at the Oscars and BAFTA. That's my prediction, but it's getting picture because it's such a big contender overall.
No, I think it's going to get all the nominations you'd think it would get.
It's not getting cinematography and editing.
The Substance, I think, is going to be fine here. I always thought The Substance would do well at Critics' Choice, even if it didn't turn out in other places. I think that's the kind of film that's been building momentum online.
Critics' groups are doing Far Shot. They're definitely doing Demi Moore. They're doing Margaret Qualley. They're doing the screenplay. They're doing, they're doing the movie in all the above-the-line categories, and for some reason, for getting it below the line, I don't know why this is a pattern, but this is how it's going. Right now, The Substance is tied with Nickel Boys in 7th place at the critics' groups. It's doing well. It's actually kind of tricky from here on out because A Real Pain's doing really well. Kieran Culkin's winning. He's sweeping. It's doing really well in screenplay.
But it's not a top 5 movie, so it's only been nominated at 4 critics groups. And many of the, probably the ones with 10 slots, like the Astros, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely, definitively a bottom 5, whereas Substance can pop up. A Real Pain is, it's on the bubble. I do think there's a good chance for it to show up at Critics' Choice, but I don't think it's a guarantee. After The Substance, I think this is where I start to feel uncertain.
But I think it's happening, though.
No, there's a couple guaranteed nominations for A Real Pain. It'll be fine. It'll probably get 3 nominations. Maybe it'll get a 4th at one of their dumb categories. But here's why it's no guarantee, okay? There's other films in here. Challengers, okay? Challengers would do well at Critics' Choice. Critics ate it up. People still talk about it. It's actually doing decently with critics' circles. It's almost tied with The Substance and Nickel Boys at 6 nominations.
It's actually tied with The Complete Unknown in how many nominations it's gotten. So those movies are both doing really well, and Critics' Choice would go for challengers, but it's also the kind of thing where they might think, I like challengers, but it's not actually getting in, so therefore, we're just not going to see it. It's going to be weird. I can see challengers. I think it's going to get into screenplay. I think it's getting score, probably song, and maybe even editing.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know.
The struggle this year is Challengers isn't getting really any acting nominations, and Zendaya in comedy at Globes is just, it doesn't really count. It's kind of a week.
Maybe it's May, December, how, it was getting a lot of passion from critics groups, but it just didn't make it.
But also, May December is a little artsy for Critics' Choice. I almost feel like Saltburn is a trendy, younger person film that kind of relates to Challengers. Yeah.
Complete Unknown also very tempted to put this in. I mean, it's been doing pretty well so far. The reviews just dropped today.
It's been doing very well.
The reviews they're fine, but honestly, this is the point in the year where, like, there's always a movie that's under embargo that overperforms because it's under embargo. All the reactions that you're seeing are, like, really hyperbolic, and some people are like, oh, it's a masterpiece. And then the actual reviews drop, and then the response seems to kind of streamline and cool down. And I think that's kind of going to happen with A Complete Unknown. That's my prediction.
But they might be too late because they only just dropped the reviews today, so people are voting without that knowledge.
I know. Yeah. But Being the Ricardos did not make Critics' Choice.
That had worse reviews, though. And A Complete Unknown's reviews actually don't really make me think one thing or another. I was thinking if it was in the low 60s on Metacritic, I would be on the fence about it. It's at 68 right now, and there are a significant portion of ratings that are above 80. That's important to me because that shows that some people feel passionately about it. And there are some guaranteed nominations that A Complete Unknown is going to get.
They can go for it in actor and supporting actor, and I'd be shocked if they win for it in, like, screenplay or anything else. That's really it for Complete Unknown. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. It's not that big of a haul.
Usually there aren't 12 movies that I think are just, like, completely, like, viable and make sense for Critics' Choice. But then you give Nickel Boys, which, you know, it's doing really well with those higher brow critics, but... You know, those guys are outnumbered in this group. Nickel Boys could be a little challenging for this quite normie organization.
Yeah, and I know you voted for Nickel Boys, so maybe it can benefit from that passion, but it's also very rare for a film like Nickel Boys to be an American indie film, even if it's sort of on the bubble of Oscars. It ends up getting in, like Beasts of the Southern Wild, Tree of Life, which I think Nickel Boys is sort of similar to in its award performance overall. Those films got into Critics' Choice. If Nickel Boys didn't get into Critics' Choice, it would be kind of out of step with how we think it's going to get a pass to the Oscar.
I mean, even Uncut Gems got into Critics' Choice.
It's not really like
the Florida Project. Yeah, but like they actually do usually embrace the American indies as long as they're contending. Like,
I know, but this one feels more
film.
It feels more like the vibes of Zone of Interest apply to Nickel Boys, though.
But they don't because it's American.
I agree.
Like it got into AFI. That was really strong.
I know. It gets in where it matters. Like, it got into Globe Drama. It got into AFI. And by the way, I've heard back from AFI. The Substance was indeed eligible and was simply not selected for the top 10 films of the year. That's what happened. Clearing up the record there. The only film I'm really considering swapping is Nickel Boys.
Yeah.
And I'm considering swapping it for Challengers. But the problem here is it's also the exact 10 that the Astra did.
It's really crazy because Complete Unknown is also something they so would go for.
Right.
They so would.
They just have too many things.
It's not even like I don't think it makes sense. I think it makes perfect sense. There's just too many films. Maybe A Real Pain misses somehow, and it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I really am going to be surprised, I think.
But so will you keep Nickel Boys in?
That's the 10 I'm going for.
Because here's the thing. I think Nickel Boys will be nominated for the Oscar. I just have a sense that it's going to get into directing and screenplay and cinematography, and that will be enough for it, even though I know it's not going to perform amazing at other places.
The other thing with the Astras was that I don't think that they had time to see A Complete Unknown. That could also get in. It really wouldn't shock me if Nickel Boys did not make this lineup. It's a little experimental for this group.
There's a lot of people in this group who are just not, like, Nickel Boys is too challenging.
But I also know a lot of people who make it like their mission to make sure Nickel Boys freaking gets in.
Yes.
So I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is just what I gotta go with. This is what I gotta go.
You gotta go with Nickel Boys over Challengers?
Yeah, and Complete Unknown is even with Challengers.
And here's another reason I don't feel cozy about what you're doing. This is the 10 that you're currently predicting for the Oscar.
That's okay.
I'm thinking that this 10 will not stand at the Oscar the whole way through the year.
I mean, Sing Sing might fall. I don't know.
If you wanted to say Nickel is going to get swapped for something, I would not begrudge you. I do caution people thinking that the Substance is going to miss here. I just think that's going to happen. There's also a lot of categories that the Substance could get into. It's really easy to vote down the ballot for the Substance in, like, many categories. So if you love it, there's a lot of opportunities to show your love.
I don't think anything else is going to happen here. I don't think that the critics are caught on to September 5 / a lot of them. It's kind of like their enemy a little bit.
Yeah, but I think even beyond that, they just don't know it's an Oscar contender. They're just not aware. They don't think it's happening. Right, yeah. It's not really catching fire quite yet. I definitely am looking out for September 5 to surprise at the Oscars in editing, screenplay, and Best Picture. I think it's possible in all those categories, but it's not something that would happen here. Nosferatu, if there were more slots that were ambiguous, I would maybe make an argument that Nosferatu could show up.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Uncut Gems. They may feel special, like they've been treated to these screenings early and they might want to be the first people to do something. But generally, again, they don't think it's an Oscar contender. The movie doesn't scream, I'm going to be a Best Picture nominee, so they probably won't do it because they don't think it's going to happen. But it has great reviews.
So director, I have Brady Corbett at number 1. It could be Sean Baker. It could maybe be John Chu. I mean, honestly, John Chu has won 2 awards so far, so that's really funny. But Brady Corbett's actually winning the most critics group so far.
Really?
Yeah.
How many has Sean Baker won and how many have Brady won?
I think Sean Baker has 1, Brady Corbett has 3.
Wow.
Ramel Ross has 2. But just like how he didn't get into the Globes, that doesn't mean just because he won New York critics that's happening.
Yep.
I think it's a better sign for the Oscar, honestly. So we got Brady Corbett for Brutalist, Sean Baker and Nora, John Chu for Wicked. Oh, actually, this is really, really tough. Oh my god, I don't know what to do. Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2. He did get snubbed for the Golden Globe. Yeah. And we should be absolutely worried, if not hanging our hats for the Oscar nomination. But I think critics are really into Dune, and I think that they are just the ones who want to make sure that he's in.
They're not even forgetting Furiosa. I've seen Furiosa pop up. They don't have the same amnesia, it seems, that other people do. They're going to go for Dune. That was the critics. Honestly, it was their favorite movie ever when it came out. I think that's fine. And it's something that's going to get director here. It'll be just fine. If Dune is indeed having a dip where it gets less nominations at Oscar, I think at Critics' Choice, it's going to be that. That's not happening.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
They're just going to not let that happen.
I got The Substance in. I think that the critics are going to make this happen. And she's actually number 3 in critics groups in the tally. So, good for her. And then at number 6...
I have Amelia Perez. You have
I'm not sure. I'll tell you this, man. Amelia Perez has 3 nominations so far, and one of those is the Globe. They are actually not really going out for Amelia Perez a lot. A lot of the groups are not doing it.
I just think it's not gonna. You're not gonna see that here. You're gonna be like, oh, okay. I guess it's like how everyone feels like they're being gaslit all over the place by Amelia Perez. Oh, I guess critics just like it. I just get where it counts. It's showing up.
Why would that not be true for Conclave? What about Conclave wouldn't happen? Tell me that.
Well, what about Amelia Perez wouldn't happen?
I think the Critics' Choice are a bit online, and then the online presence for this movie is weaker. And yeah, it's really, really strong internationally. Yeah. The Golden Globes showed that. The Critics' Choice are all U.S. voters. And also, just going by the raw numbers, man, so far, Conclave has more directing nominations.
I mean, Conclave is undeniably very strong. So, I think you can go either way, and you're going to be valid. But I don't know what to do. Audiard seems like a solid director contender because honestly, so stylish.
This could be the one place he misses, because I do not share any doubt that Audiard is getting all the other nominations.
Right.
DGA, Oscar, BAFTA.
Right. Exactly.
He's going to have a smooth time. Actually, this directing lineup is so competitive that I'm freaking out. I have no idea what DGA is.
Do you think John Chu could get a snub here? Or is that like a pipe dream?
Ugh.
I think that's not going to... I think he's going to get
he's going to get in.
Yeah.
I think they're really going to go hard for Wicked.
Hey, Wicked's been doing weirdly well with critics groups. So
I'm going to just go and snub Jock Audiard and say this is the one place he misses.
Fine.
I don't feel good about it, but, Berger, I tried to snub for the Golden Globe and it didn't fucking work. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's fine. I'll go with you on that.
You're going to go with me on that?
Yeah. So Ensemble, what's their flavor with Ensemble? And by the way, you should be going along an award expert and changing your predictions. Why not as you watch the video? You can just do it with us. That's what I'm doing.
Their Ensemble, they gave it to Glass Onion one year. Woman King got nominated. Air got nominated. Color Purple got nominated. So, honestly, I really think that they could go for Saturday Night here. What I'm kind of worried about is them not nominating Sing Sing.
Wait, it's more about the way that they didn't nominate. They didn't nominate Poor Things. They didn't nominate Marriage Story. They sometimes snub really deserving.
Okay, that's why I'm worried about Sing Sing and Anora.
I know, but Sing Sing that's
and Anora. I've seen too many Ensemble lineups with critics where they're not going for Sing Sing,
about Honora, though?
I want to pull my hair out. Honora's been doing pretty well. It has 5 nominations so far.
Sing Sing has been doing well with
No,
it's only been missing from 3 lineups.
You're right, but I don't know why.
Out of 9 missing.
You're right, but I don't know why it hasn't gotten every single one.
I agree. Honora, I was always thinking it wouldn't do well in Ensemble, and then I changed my mind when it got frontrunner status. They could do Dune Part 2 here.
No, I think that they probably will. Honestly,
They didn't do Dune
it's
Part
one of
1.
the top They didn't. So I have the tally
from last year,
from the year of the first Dune. I have my tally,
Okay.
and Dune did well with critics groups, but it didn't get nominated here. Right now, it's actually tied in second with Wicked for how well it's doing with critics groups. You know, I think Dune Part 2 does have like a better ensemble than Dune 1.
I have a question. Did The Harder They Fall get nominated? That led with critics groups with Ensemble. Did it get nominated at Critics' Choice? I think Saturday Night's going to get nominated at Critics' Choice.
I feel
because they're like, oh, there's so many people in big cast. Yeah, I think Sing Sing is going to squeeze in, just because.
Yeah. I think Honora will happen too. This is another category. Okay, I definitely think Wicked's happening, by the way. Like, absolutely. So,
yeah,
this is a category where I am wondering if I have to snub Amelia Perez once again.
I know.
And let me tell you.
I agree with you.
How many critics groups have nominated Amelia Perez so far? Actually, it is 3. That's not bad.
Well, it's
3's
not bad. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't mention, but Conclave is doing the best right now.
With Ensemble?
It's doing the best. It has 3 wins. Like,
wow,
I
really
don't think that it would translate to SAG as a win.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe.
It's got the most nominations, too.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if Dune gets snubbed.
There's going to be a weird snub.
I guess A Complete Unknown is a contender. I'm not really going hard for anything else. I'd be surprised if September 5 showed up.
Outside Shot, The Piano Lesson.
Actress, Mikey Madison. Cynthia Erivo, number 2. Oh, yes, absolutely. She's so locked in that I can't even stand it.
Yeah.
Demi Moore, absolutely, like, freaking in there, doing insane with critics groups. All these 3 are doing insane flawlessly.
Have they just gotten in everywhere? Absolutely everywhere?
Oh, basically, yeah. Gascon, she actually hasn't been doing, like, amazing, but it's the kind of thing where it's so happening for the Oscar that I just have to predict it. I have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
It'd be an insane snub.
This category is actually fucked. I'm freaking out.
So Jolie has not been doing that well with critics groups. She's doing like kind of meh, actually. And I actually think they're not nominating Maria in any text, but I am tempted to say Jolie makes it in here just because she's like, you know, again, if you're predicting the Oscars, that's what you think is happening.
People don't care about the movie, and you need people to care about the movie.
Also, critics don't like it. But and it's funny. It's funny because the other Laraine films, Jackie and Spencer, those won. Oh, actually, no. Kristen Stewart didn't win Critics' Choice Best Actress, but she was winning a lot of critics groups.
But it makes total sense. They loved those films.
Yeah, it's so different from the other 2. It's so different. It's not the same. And at number 6, I have Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl. Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. It feels like a Critics' Choice thing. Baptiste is actually doing really fucking well with critics groups.
Yeah, really well.
She has 3 wins, okay? Of course, though, these are like the coastal critics.
Right.
Who are watching
the people
Hard
who
Truths.
will do Nickel Boys.
The ones who are actually watching Hard Truths.
Yep.
I'm not convinced the Critics' Choice have seen it.
I'm not convinced that they care because I think they have like the horses they're main horses of films that they like. I think it's a little too cool for the Critics' Choice to do that.
I mean, the Golden Globes not
cool.
doing it like kind of made me just generally nervous about her.
Nuts. That was a
I don't understand that at all. I really don't understand it. Baptiste is going to get the BAFTA nom, and honestly could contend to win the BAFTA, maybe. I'm disappointed that that's going to be her only major nomination, probably. Maybe the Critics' Choice can pull through for her. I certainly voted for her. Yeah, I just feel like Nicole Kidman is more like, oh, Nicole Kidman in Baby Girl, that's a fun movie that we like. Like, you know what I mean? It's a little easier, and Critics' Choice are all about going on Gold Derby and going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So this is that for me.
Yeah, I don't know where Nicole Kidman is actually going to stand this awards race.
I think that she's making Critics' Choice. I've always thought that she's just Critics' Choice Golden Globe, and then she's off. So I think SAG's going to be the top 5 that we have here.
Yeah. What else is like below that? I mean, Naomi Scott got the Astra for Smile 2.
Nah.
It's not going to happen, but
Ronan's done for the Outrun.
Ronan is actually done.
Ronan's
That's
done for the Outrun. It
it
actually rhymes.
The fact that she couldn't make it into that lineup at Golden Globes, where it should have been a cakewalk, my goodness, she's not getting any nominations, major nominations this year. Maybe the BAFTA, but I wouldn't even count on it.
Torres isn't doing amazing.
Really?
She only has 2 nominations.
Huh.
Pamela Anderson has 3.
Wow.
So I would say she's not impossible.
There's no way Torres is getting into Critics' Choice.
Amy Adams, long shot. No, I think that it's really between the 7. Lead actor, I'm nervous that Brody won't win, but to go with the prediction...
As in, Timothy is going to win.
I actually think Brody will win. Because, I mean, first of all, if Complete Unknown's not in picture, I'm not going to worry. But if it is, I'm going to worry. The two top performing actors with critics group so far are actually Adrian Brody and Coleman Domingo. Coleman Domingo has been doing really, really well. They really like him. And I'm glad to see it. But I think Adrian Brody is the one here. Ray Fiennes, just a safe man who's just, in the categories and is not doing any business winning. I know some people think that's happening. He hasn't won anything so far, and it just makes sense. It makes sense that, Brody's like... And then Timothée Chalamet is like, playing the harmonica, and Coleman Domingo is like, acting, it's about acting. And then Ray Fiennes is like, faith. So when you put it like that, it makes sense who's winning and who's not.
I never saw that as a winning performance. Timothée Chalamet is doing almost as well with nominations, but he has 2 wins. That's really good. The fact that he's been winning certain awards, very good for him. He does stand a chance to win the Oscar. You should look out. Adrian Brody, look over his shoulder, but ultimately, The Brutalist is going to be a stronger movie than A Complete Unknown. It's going to have many more nominations. It could be the runner-up to win Best Picture. I have to stick with Adrian Brody. I'm not as scared about Chalamet as some people are.
Daniel Craig, I think, is looking pretty good. He's actually not missing too much.
No.
He is showing up. He's firm
the solid number
5. Number 6 is where I'm confused because I was ready to predict Glenn Powell for Hitman.
Which is what the Astros did.
Because I saw the Astros do it, and I thought that makes sense for them to do it. But he hasn't been nominated since, except for the Golden Globe, actually.
They could do it just for a lack of having seen things. They've probably seen Hitman. And I'm not sure they've seen The Apprentice, and that's the only other one that I think is a contender.
They might have seen The Apprentice enough to nominate Sebastian Stan.
And then the last nominee would be potentially Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain, which the Astros did. And of course, they've seen A Real Pain, so that makes sense. But I don't know.
Is Hugh Grant for Heretic possible? Because he has gotten a couple nominations.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
It'd be kind of fascinating, and I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll quite happen. So for me, it's between Glenn Powell and Sebastian Stan. I don't feel like Jesse Eisenberg's going to get a nomination this big, right? I mean, I'm just not feeling that. Stan has not been getting a lot of nominations. The critics are not touching The Apprentice. I'm going to go with Glenn Powell.
Really?
I just am.
Holy shit.
I don't know.
Holy shit.
I just am.
A lot of people, they want Glenn Powell. They want him to insert himself into them.
All right, supporting actress. This is going to be Ariana Grande victory, I think.
Because she's been winning the most awards with critics groups. She's number 1, objectively.
Here's the thing. Wicked is the Critics' Choice favorite musical. Amelia Perez is the Golden Globe's favorite musical. We might find that the favorite musical of the voting body is what determines where this goes.
Yeah.
And, BAFTA probably will like Amelia Perez better than Wicked also. Maybe they'll go with Saldana, or maybe they'll go Felicity Jones.
Yep.
And then SAG is going to give it to Ariana Grande because they're going to like Wicked better than Amelia Perez.
Yeah. And the
Critics' Choice will like Wicked better. The Oscars,
obviously, Wicked is closer to winning Best Picture than
but Amelia Perez might get 12 nominations. And if that happens, it might be less obvious to say.
But I don't think Amelia Perez is going to get very many wins. Whereas Wicked, I am scared about the wins it's going to get.
So I'm predicting Ariana Grande here. Saldana. Deadweiler's doing really well so far with critics groups. The Golden Globe snub was absolutely brutal. And I think that, she may get SAG or whatever, but I think she's going to miss the Oscar now.
She probably won't get SAG.
I don't know. Usually those August Wilson movies do.
I think she'll get in here because, again, you said she's doing really well. It's on the radar. It's something that people think is going to happen. She's amazing in it. She's Oscar worthy in the film. Felicity Jones, I also think, is pretty secure. I know she took a little bit of time to get off the ground. I don't know.
Oh no, she's gonna be fine.
She'll be fine.
I think she'll be okay.
Yeah.
Actually, here's an interesting person from last year. Rachel McAdams was actually number 2 in supporting actress last year behind Randolph with critics groups. Didn't show up at Critics' Choice. There is a line between critics groups and Critics' Choice. And sometimes it's just if the person's not likely to get the Oscar. I have Margaret Qualley. The critics groups are liking Qualley.
Yep.
And she got that Golden Globe nomination.
Yep.
It seems like she might come along with The Substance. And I'm considering if I have to put her in my Oscar 5.
I think she's going to get Critics' Choice.
I think she'll get
She's in too many memes.
Yeah.
That's important, I think.
So for this last slot, it is between Anjou Ellis, who has some nominations. She has 4 nominations so far. Isabella Rossellini got the Globe and 2 others, so she's not sweeping, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Selena Gomez, who really only has Golden Globe and Astra, I think. And yet, I feel like that would happen.
Yeah.
Now, it kind of goes against what I was saying before, which is like that they might not go really, really hard for Emilia Perez.
No, but I think we should be moderate on this.
But I feel like the Critics' Choice would like their like young Disney Channel celebrity. I don't know why I say
I have a feeling she's going to get in also. And I hate it because I need Ingenue Ellis-Taylor to get nominated more. I need her to get the Oscar nomination. I don't have faith it's going to happen. I am skeptical of that. I'm skeptical of how hard they're going to go out for Nickel Boys in general. But if they do go out for Nickel Boys, I'm going to give them a pat on the back. If they nominate Ellis, I'm going to give them a pat on the back.
I mean, the Astros nominated Ellis. It was kind of interesting.
That is really interesting.
Actually, I feel like Ellis is going to get one nomination somewhere.
Probably.
And this is the only place it can happen. I also have to say that like a lot of the materials that I've been sent in like the mail and email have been very Ingenue Ellis geared in this Nickel Boys campaign. She's half of this.
Good.
For example, I'm going to predict Ingenue Ellis. I think that
I like your
she's going to be slightly mysterious for the Oscar. And it makes sense that she could be a just Critics' Choice and then happens at the Oscar person.
I'm worried about Gomez, but I know what you mean.
I also am not trying to doubt Gomez.
Sometimes Critics' Choice do like that one actor in a supporting category that I'm like, good for you. If no one else does it this year, at least you did it. They were the only people to do Ann Dowd in Mass. I think they were the only people to do a woman talking woman. They did Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway. Sometimes they do a good job. Maybe Natasha Lyonne has a chance. Because she's like the one nomination that it could get in here and nowhere else.
This is where I feel like that would be that movie's so far outside of the Oscars that's the Rachel McAdams.
But it's kind of like Causeway.
The Ann Dowd in Mass, I guess you could say.
Right.
Yeah, I guess so. That'd be amazing. I would cheer. I voted for her as well.
People are gonna struggle with a performance that's in POV, which is totally unfair. But that's kind of how I see that.
The Oscars usually pull out like one performance that got just Critics' Choice.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the one this year. I don't know. That's a little too far looking forward, but I feel the feeling. You know what I was saying before? I was like, Rossellini or Ingenue Ellis is getting in the Golden Globe, and I'm going to predict the inverse for Critics' Choice. I feel like both of them are not getting in everywhere, but both of them will get in somewhere.
Yeah.
Sort of weird, but I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. So, supporting actor, Culkin is actually sweeping. Goodness gracious. So, you got to predict him to win. Guy Pearce, Clarence Macklin, he's not going to miss. That was devastating when he missed at the Globe. It's not happening again.
I don't think they would allow that here.
Denzel Washington, Yura Borisov. That's 5 that's happening.
Yep.
Okay? And then you probably want to predict Edward Norton for a Complete Unknown.
Yep.
I could see them doing Stanley Tucci and Conclave.
Really?
Yeah, just being weird and stuff. There's not as much evidence for it.
Right.
And Jeremy Strong, I don't think they're touching The Apprentice. I don't see them doing that. Jonathan Bailey, Wicked, as a long shot, but I haven't seen him appear since the Astra, who dumped every fluid they had on Wicked. It's pretty easy 6, right?
It is easy. Edward Norton's like one of those guys too who's in like acting compilations that are just like male actors from people who like just discovered the IMDb top 250. So I think he's like a little bit on brand too.
Original screenplay. Honora's winning this.
Yep.
The Brutalist getting nominated. A Real Pain's doing really, really well right now with screenplay. It's actually winning a couple awards, which I love.
It should.
I would vote for
So
it.
well written. Such great character development.
The Substance is locked for original screenplay at the Critics' Choice.
Yep.
And then I have Challengers, which that's just a strong nomination for this movie. And then it's probably between Saturday Night and September 5.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
I've seen the critics. I would not be surprised to see if them go for Saturday Night. I don't know why.
I agree. It actually showed up in some categories at Astra.
This is actually the top 6 for what critics have been doing right now. September 5 has like 1 nomination overall. And again, I just think that September 5 might show up.
September 5 doesn't
Ensemble.
need this for it doesn't need to do Critics' Choice for the campaign. Saturday Night feels like something the Critics' Choice would do because they're like, oh, it's a fun movie, the ensemble, and the screenplay, so much writing and dialogue. Like, that's all they would need to do to say that's could get
That's what they're going to do.
Hard Truths, Long Shot, Blitz is out of here. Seed of Sacred Fig, they're not cool enough to do that. That's it. Yeah, I think that's good.
What if Baby Girl got a nomination?
That's a long shot.
Adapted screenplay. We have like we barely need to spend time on this because this is just so straightforward. So Conclave's winning. It's already doing really well. Like all the things are in place for Conclave to win screenplay. Sing Sing weakness equals Conclave win. Sing Sing will get nominated here. Dune will get nominated here. Nickel Boys will be fine no matter what happens to it. Wicked's getting nominated. Absolutely, my goodness.
I know. It just is.
And number 6, I have Emilia Perez. The critics are not nominating Emilia Perez in screenplay. They're just not. They're literally just not doing it.
Oh.
But
it only got nominated at Golden Globe. That was the first screenplay nomination it's gotten all season. That's what you're telling me?
I think I'm telling you that.
Wow.
But I think that because it's such a big contender, it's a good bet. So Complete Unknown hasn't gotten any screenplay nominations either, but I guess, by virtue of being a contender, it's kind of a possibility. And then, honestly, some critics groups have been throwing in Nosferatu. No. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just going to tell you that
it's not a screenplay movie.
It's been getting thrown in a little bit.
They'd have to be too creative to do that.
Ultimately, this is the 6 that we have in picture, so that's what I'm doing.
That's good. That's very solid. I think maybe the Wild Robot would show up, even though it hasn't been.
No one's been doing it.
I know no one's been doing it. If a Complete Unknown showed up here, I'd be a little bit scared that that's going to do really well.
Foreign language film, this is actually a little tough, and I don't know exactly what to do. We know that Emilia Perez is winning. Seed of the Sacred Fig, I'm Still Here, All We Imagine Is Light. Those are just the big international contenders this year that are going to get in everywhere that they're eligible. Yep. And then it's a little hard for the last 2. So interestingly enough, the movie with the most nominations in critics groups right now is Flow, and I think Flow counts for them. I know it's not in a language at all, but
there's a lot of love for Flow. There really is.
Critics fucking love Flow. That is the movie that they are picking to go against the Wild Robot grain. That's the one, unanimously. Nobody's done Snail. That's it. It actually might get in. I don't know if I would predict it or not, because I don't know if they're thinking about that or not. I mean, Kneecap, I feel, will kind of be a non-starter for a lot of nominations, but Critics' Choice, the kind of the perception that it's been part of the conversation, I think, could keep Kneecap in. Girl with the Needle also makes sense, but it could be Kneecap and Flow.
Kneecap is a very crowd-pleasing film that makes a lot of sense. But do they know it? They're supposed to do it. Have they seen it? Is it on the radar? They know they're supposed to have seen Flow.
No, I know
that they've seen it.
I actually think that Kneecap might be on their radar.
But Girl with the Needle is definitely on the radar.
I'm not sure that they like that kind of movie.
Usually it really comes down to what are the most prominent international films, and you don't have to think about it that hard. Girl with the Needle does have some of the most attention around it this year.
Kneecap has a lot of attention too, though. I don't know why you wouldn't say that.
Fine, we can do it.
Animated film. This is easy peasy. Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, and Flow. Okay, those are the 5 that everybody's doing. And then, some will say, oh, they're going to do Moana 2 and it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Actually, they're going to do Transformers 1.
Ha, say it like it's a fact.
Critics actually like Transformers 1, and they've been nominating it a little bit when they have room.
I agree with you, actually.
Critics groups have not been doing Moana 2.
And also,
that was the thing that the Golden Globes did, because for some godforsaken reason, they also nominated Wish.
Look Back wouldn't happen at the Critics' Choice because they haven't seen it.
Absolutely
Period.
Not.
Done.
Absolutely
That's it.
Cinematography. Okay, so The Brutalist, Dune. Are we clear? Are we clear with those 2? Nosferatu is in. It's a lock.
Really?
Get it in there. It's doing amazing.
Really?
The critics are going to nominate Nosferatu in a few texts. They like it.
Okay.
Yep.
I think Conclave would get in here.
I think Conclave might get in here,
I know
too.
it's not a huge contender for cinematography overall, but I definitely...
It's in 5th place. It's in a distant 5th. Nosferatu has 3 wins right now. That's how much they like it. Okay? Nickel Boys is going to get nominated no matter what. That's actually in the lead right now with cinematography and critics groups, which is a dream come true so far. 5 is Wicked.
What the fuck are you doing here?
I already told you Emilia Perez isn't happening.
Why?
Oh, nobody's nominated it. Nowhere, no how.
No one's nominated it for cinematography?
No one so far.
Someone's going to do
Just wait. Yeah, the ASC will do it. The BAFTA will do it, but they won't do it. The critics don't like it. The critics are a little less warm on Emilia Perez. Even the most warm group, the Astros, didn't nominate it in this category. It's blank.
Wicked for cinematography, though? I think that's a little bit too far.
It's already gotten a couple nominations.
2.
Barbie got nominated last year.
Astra.
I said Barbie got nominated last year.
That's because it was Robbie Richardson.
That I don't care. I swear to God. I swear to God they're nominating Wicked. What should they nominate? The Substance.
Yeah.
What aren't they nominating? The Substance.
Yeah, I agree. They're just not.
It would be awesome to see challengers get a nomination here. Maria's not happening that hard with critics groups, and they don't like Maria a lot.
I also think Drew Daniels not doing quite as well as he needs to get this nomination. Well, Challengers has the best, it has some of the best cinematography, has the best camera work of the year, but it doesn't have like a color grade.
Right.
And I know how superficial that is, but we're talking about awards here.
You know what else doesn't have a color grade? Wicked. I still think that they're just gonna love it so much.
There's like people who have seen 5 films and you're like, Wicked? Wicked?
Yes. That's,
Wicked?
Precisely.
Like
it.
they're just still part of the CCA membership, and all they've seen is like 3 things. It got 20 nominations at Astra. I understand what you're saying.
20.
Insane. Emilia Perez, no though? No cinematography for Emilia Perez?
No, not yet. It'll happen at the big ones, but not this one.
You think so?
Yeah. In editing, Dune, Honor, I don't know what the hell's winning. Actually, this is where I have to wonder if The Substance can rebound. Although, tomorrow, which when you're watching this video might be today, the Eddie Awards happen, and if The Substance gets nominated there, I'm gonna be like, oh boy. And I mean, it's got a good shot, right? Because it's probably in comedy. If that gets in, I'm gonna be curious, because there's no front runner in this category, and if The Substance gets in, I'm gonna be wondering if it can win. Okay? Call me crazy. Maybe they'll do it, but I don't have that much faith, because let me tell you, The Substance has 1 nomination so far with critics groups. They love the movie. What's wrong with them? Why aren't they doing this? What's the issue? I'm nervous, and I might not predict it for this reason. Okay, I might not predict it. I'm nervous.
I don't know why it's not doing well with editing. It's actually the most crazy thing I've ever heard of, because the editing and the sound in that film is absolutely phenomenal, top tier cinema.
Wicked's getting nominated. You have that right. Part of the shower.
Fine.
Part of the Wicked shower.
Fine, whatever.
The Wicked shower. Conclave in. Absolutely.
Really?
In. Oh my God, yes.
Oh, is it doing well?
Yeah, it's doing just fine. I'll say that September 5's been doing weirdly fucking well, and it won 2 awards.
Yeah.
Honestly, that or Saturday Night is contending for like a random what?
Wait, can you show me how far outside of Best Picture they generally go in this category? I would like
Not
to see
far.
that.
But last year they went for Air. That's why they might do September 5.
Wait, why did they do Air and Best Editing? What was... Oh, because they had the archival footage at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. They nominated Tenet. They nominated Widows. That's kind of Blade Runner. Sully got in. It's actually, I might put in September 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking not The Substance. I know it's horrifying, but I just don't...
No, I don't think
they're just... I don't know what's wrong with them.
I have The Brutalist because it's really strong, and I have Challengers at 6. Gotta tell you, man, I know that Challengers may or may not get picture, but it's getting a lot of love in editing with critics groups. It has 2 wins, actually. It's either that or September 5 probably for this slot.
Right. Yeah. Challengers is more of their kind of movie, though. I'm watching out for a Conclave or Brutalist snub.
Conclave's not getting snubbed from editing. You keep trying to convince me that it's weak in editing, and it's not. Production design, Wicked is winning. Congrats, Wicked. Dune, Gladiator 2, The Brutalist, Nosferatu. Do you have this?
I don't know.
You need to put it in. They're going to nominate it in some categories, and this is one of them. It currently has 6 nominations from critics groups, and it's number 4.
Nosferatu and Conclave.
Yeah, Conclave, because the critics groups are actually going for that. Blitz is gonna blank. We should talk about that. Blitz deserves production design and costumes
And sound.
but it's blanking. It just is. I don't know what else to say. Like, no critics group has nominated it anywhere pretty much so far. And so yeah, Conclave. Congrats. Costumes, Wicked winning. Dune's getting nominated. Gladiator's getting nominated. Furiosa's getting nominated. I've seen enough. They're doing it. They like Furiosa. This is the category they're embracing it in. Nosferatu, 5
That would be
nominations
very deserving.
so far.
I would like that.
Then the last slot's kind of tricky because you could do Conclave, you could do Beetlejuice, and I don't think they're doing Maria.
Why not Maria? They're supposed to.
I feel like they're going to not care about it.
Do you think they could maybe do The Brutalist just because they're like, oh, that's a big period movie?
Kind of, but nobody's done it so far.
What about Beetlejuice? Maybe let's just put Beetlejuice in here. It's a Tim Burton movie. I don't know if people think Conclave has costumes.
Them doing Wonka, I'm going to go for Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to happen.
Even though
too.
Conclave, I wouldn't be surprised if they just did it. Hair and makeup, this is the one tech The Substance is getting, and it is winning.
Yeah.
Even at the Astras, they didn't give it to Wicked, they gave it to The Substance. Wicked's getting nominated absolutely here. Dune is getting nominated. Beetlejuice, Nosferatu, and maybe Furiosa for the last slot, or A Different Man.
A Different Man, I think, is visible enough. No? Maybe they didn't see it, actually.
There aren't a lot of critics groups that do a hair and makeup award, so there's not much to go off of here. A Different Man is just a very indie pick. And at the Critics' Choice, they don't do that.
But they know there's makeup from the trailer.
Looking at their makeup nominations, the Critics' Choice don't care about prosthetics as much as the Oscars. And they just like it when the main characters have makeup on. I'm looking at their noms and I'm just saying like that A Different Man is too indie. I think Furiosa fits.
They do a lot of period movies that wouldn't get makeup at the Oscars.
Yes, that's right.
So are there any other period movies here? I mean, there's Maria.
Actually, Gladiator 2, I wouldn't be shocked if they did that. Visual effects, Dune, Wicked, which is locked in, my god. Furiosa, Apes, Gladiator 2, Twisters, Mufasa they haven't seen, so don't predict Mufasa, they haven't seen it. They haven't been shown it.
Twisters.
I just think that makes sense for them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked, honestly, if it was Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
And maybe The Substance.
And maybe Deadpool.
I said maybe The Substance.
Why not maybe Deadpool?
I will say The Substance has 2 VFX nominations from critics groups, 1 win. And they could just go,
Interesting.
oh, that had a couple of visual effects.
I don't even know where the visual effects are, though, so I wouldn't even
Like the
think to do
eyes
that.
splitting.
I wouldn't even think to do that, though.
They didn't nominate Alien Covenant, and they also didn't nominate Prometheus. So.
But this is a little more prominent than
Hey, yo. Prometheus got an Oscar nom. For them to not nominate that...
I could see them just being inconsistent, though. I mean,
How weird-
Alien Romulus is a big space movie, too.
How weird would it be for me to say that Twisters is just closer to Best Picture? Like,
It's not, though. Like, it's not anywhere. Wait, why not
Makes
Deadpool
sense.
and Wolverine? Are we being too intellectual here?
They didn't nominate Deadpool 1 or 2. Why would they do it? I'm going to go
Fine.
with Twisters because I just think that was the movie that had the most visual effects hype this year. Original score. I'm going with the Globe 6 here. Brutalist, Challengers, Dune, Conclave, Wild Robot, Amelia Perez. And Challengers
All right.
might win, honestly.
I think
especially if
it's
it
going to
wins
be the
picture.
Brutalist because that score, when you hear it, it's absolutely phenomenal and you will not forget it. And
Yeah.
it's very prominent and it makes you say, oh, it's going to win the Oscar when you listen to it. Saturday Night Close, maybe?
Oh,
What else?
no. Wicked's next up. Yes.
Wicked. for score.
Yes. Wicked's the next in line. Wicked has 2 noms from critics groups, which is actually as many as Amelia Perez, might I add. The Astros, I believe they put in Wicked over Amelia Perez. Last year they nominated Barbie for score. How's that for Wicked?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because they're not. I always forget, like, they don't know what even makes a score in a movie. They don't really distinguish, like, these
They gave
things.
Tar the award,
yeah,
man.
you're right. Wicked's going to get nominated.
But
Because they're
hold
like,
on.
there's lots of music. Let's go. The Oscars nominated it in every possible category. I don't
Yeah,
think they're going to nominate it
that's
in
the
every
thing.
possible category.
I think this is just too obviously the top 6. Moving on to song. Mi Camino El Mal. No questions there. Kiss the Sky.
Yep.
100%. Compress Repress
Yeah.
is getting nominated from Challengers because they like
Yeah.
Challengers. I actually think Like a Bird will get nominated from Sing Sing.
Yeah, I kind of think so.
And I've seen a couple critics groups do it. They go,
I
I
think-
think Sing Sing, I like that movie. I like that song.
Harper and Will Go West. I think that would get nominated, right?
I agree with you.
I
That's
feel like
my
it's
number
going to be
6.
the good thing that they do because when I heard it in the theater, I and the other people I saw it with at TIFF, we were all saying that should get an original song nomination at the Oscars. And I feel like that would be in enough people's memories that they would go for it.
I
They would try to
agree
make it
with you.
happen. Piece by piece is like what's happening. Does anyone care? No one likes Moana 2.
I will say that I think it's very possible they could nominate Beautiful That Way from The Last Showgirl. They nominated Dumplin'. They did nominate the Miley Cyrus song from Bolt. So the Young Actor and Actress Award has to be an actor who is under 21. Under 21. Dominic Sessa won the award last year. I think he was 21. So he filmed when he was under 21. I don't really know what the rule is here. So your app, I just want to warn them on a couple things. First of all, both of the Nickel boys are older than 21 years old, especially Brandon Wilson, who a lot of people have. Like, he's actually, unless we're wrong, like how we were wrong about Dominic Sessa's age, he's 30. Also, Mark Edelstein is 22. And I think if you look at when Honora was likely filmed, I don't think he quite qualifies, but he's very close. So I'm not predicting him either. The people who obviously qualify are Isaac Wong for Dee Dee, Elliot Heffernan for Blitz. Actually,
Yep.
I lied. Blitz isn't blanking. Elliot Heffernan's going to get nominated.
Oh, yeah.
Nikaya Adams for Bird. Maisie Stella for My Old Ass, who's 20. Alicia Weir from Abigail. I don't know, like, shit about this movie.
Yeah.
But it was a big movie that they probably saw. Cooper Hoffman will qualify by, like, the skin of his dick. Actually, they filmed Saturday Night, like, this year, didn't they? Ha! Okay, they filmed, like, during or right after his birthday, so I don't know if Cooper Hoffman's eligible, man. This is just so silly. Lily Colias for Good One would be an awesome pick.
Yeah.
Okay, it'd be a really great pick. She's young enough, right? Zoe Ziegler is young enough for Janet Planet. My thing is that these movies are very small. Lily Kalias for Good One. I think that one's gotten a lot of attention for like first time directing awards and things like that. Best indie film.
Catherine Kupfer is also of age.
She would be a fantastic pick for Ghostlight.
Yeah.
All right, so looking at what they do in this category, we're going to answer the question, do they go for little tiny indie films? The answer is like that they don't. The answer is they really don't. All right, so I don't know if I can predict Lily Kalias for this. There's got to be some blockbuster that had like a child in it. Nico Parker from Suncoast, tempting. Honestly, Ariel Donahue from Trap is not impossible. Just by being in the movie a lot, even though she's like fine. All right. We're going for Kaylee Fleming from If. Kaylee Fleming from If is the last slot. And we are done predicting these awards. Wow. Wowza.
I feel like my predictions are very lackluster. Like, I'm not really looking forward to them that much. I'm not that excited about
They're always
reacting.
predictable, but the picture category I'm most,
I want to say, I'm more curious what they might leave out. And I'm very curious about Best Picture and Best Director. And also if Emilia Perez shows up in a ton of categories or can miss. Like, I'm curious if things are vulnerable, like if the substance gets editing. I'm excited for Nosferatu to get some nominations. And I also am excited that Furiosa could get into some text. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Will Ingenue Ellis-Taylor get in? I would love to see that.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Who would you choose if you were a critic?